Good morning and welcome to our celebration, kicking off our 40th anniversary on the air here at WUWF. We are so glad that you've joined us this morning because you are such an important part of this 40 years. Your support has made so much possible. I'm going to talk a little bit about the story of our beginning. It didn't actually begin in 1981 because you can't build a radio station overnight. It began right around 1970 with the work of Dr. Tom Perry, who initiated the idea, and it took a long legal process through the FCC and various other sources to make the reality come to fruition on this day 40 years ago at 10 in the morning with our first initial broadcast. You know, when the station started, public radio in 1981 was new to the Gulf Coast. No one had ever experienced it before except people who may have lived somewhere else, particularly in big urban areas, and moved here. So it was a bit of a novelty. People had to get used to the idea, what is public radio all about? And also, what is this listener support? What exactly does that mean? How is public radio funded? That was a bit of a novelty for folks as well. And I have to remember when I first got here, I was talking with a former administrator here who questioned, how does that work? And I said, well, you know, I explained how our fund drives work and how people like you respond to that. And he seemed very doubtful and said, I can't believe that people just voluntarily send you money when you just go on the air and ask for it. Well, thanks to you, we have proved him wrong many times over. So your support is what makes it possible and what makes this event today possible. Another important idea of support is our administration. And we have been so blessed with an administration that has supported this station in a very big way. And that's not always the norm nationwide. I've been to conferences and talked to colleagues, and I'm so pleased to realize the amount of support that this university provides to the station. And we have some special guests with us here this morning to say a few things about their relationship with the station. We're going to begin, of course, with our president, Dr. Martha Saunders. Martha.
Thank you, Pat, and happy birthday, WUWF. This is great. I have been a listener and a donor for a whole lot of these 40 years. My commute these days, because of a broken bridge, is a little longer, so I even get to enjoy it more. I like the news shows, I like the narrative style, and I have often said that WUWF stands between me and ignorance on most days. The station also has a really important role to play in the university's community outreach. They tune us in to events that are happening in the community, and they take a deep dive and let us know more about issues that are really important to us. And I don't think there's ever a time when this station is more important to us than in times of a natural disaster. When hurricanes hit and we're without power and we're separated from each other, WUWF is tuned in and coordinated with timely, reliable information just when we need it most. Congratulations to you, Pat, to all of the staff at this awesome station, and here's to 40 more years.
Thank you, Martha. Also with us this morning is Mr. Howard Reddy, who is the Vice President for Advancement here at the university and my boss. And I could not ask for a better boss. He is fully supportive. He is there for me whenever I need him. If I have to text him in the middle of the night because something's happened, I know I'll get immediate response. I could not ask for more. And he is also someone who appreciates what public broadcasting is all about. So I'd like for Howard to come up and say a few things as well. Howard?
Thank you, Pat. Well, thank you, Pat, and congratulations. It's a very proud day for WUWF, and we're all very proud of the accomplishments of WUWF over the last 40 years. I would like to highlight a very important role that WUWF plays, and that is the role as an invaluable community partner. Throughout Pensacola, there are many organizations, and throughout the entire Northwest region, many organizations who have built up relationships with WUWF and who rely on WUWF's invaluable support of their organizations, and I did want to highlight that. It's also very special that Pat has been here for 39 of the last 40 years. Congratulations to Pat, and congratulations to the entire WUWF team who do great work on a day-to-day basis. And of course, radio stations, and as Pat has alluded to, they need the listeners, they need the listenerships, and they need the support. And we could not be prouder of your support of this station. And as we move forward into the next 40 years, we trust that you will be with us there day by day, continuing to listen and to continuing to support your NPR station. Congratulations, and looking forward to all that lies ahead. Thank you, Pat.
Thank you, Howard. And speaking of partnerships, that has been something that we've been very involved with over these 40 years. Our philosophy has always been what we do off the air is just as important as what we do over the air. And we've been very lucky to work with community organizations, the Great Gulf Coast Arts Festival, for example. We helped found the Pensacola Jazz Fest. And we have done many, many other community partnerships throughout the year, and they're so rewarding for us and rewarding for the community as well, as we hope. But once again, you are the one that makes that happen. You're the one that has made the difference because you listen to the station, you support the station, and that means so much to us. All right, we're going to go back in history again just a little bit to kind of set the stage for what we're going to do next. As I said, it took probably 11 years for the station to actually get to the point where it could go on the air. And that was a long, arduous process, but finally, that day came in January 15th of 1981 at 10 o'clock in the morning. Now, I will tell you, I'm pretty much a believer in what my friend Peter King, the ceramic artist, tells me. And he created, of course, the Radio Tortorici, which is in our building here, and something that I would encourage you to come out sometime and see this. It's a beautiful piece of artwork he did when we dedicated this building. Peter assures me he was the first person to ever hear 88.1 because he read in the paper a couple of weeks before we went on the air that it was coming, and he went ahead and tuned his radio to 88.1, turned the volume all the way up, and waited for 2 weeks for the signal to come. And he said, I know that I was the first person to hear the signal. So Peter, you are exactly right, and we're so glad that you've been with us since that time. Now, when we started the station back in 1981, our format was a little different than it is now. Now we are primarily news and information, but we have wonderful music in the evenings, jazz programming from Dale Regal, John McEnell's Acoustic Interlude, and other programs like that. We have a great weekend lineup, as you know. But back then, we were more of a traditional public radio station where we usually had morning edition, then we had classical music throughout the day, and then we had All Things Considered news in the afternoon. So, in keeping with that, we thought that it was appropriate when we started the station that we would start with a piece of classical music. And so the decision was made that the piece of music that we would do would be the Pachelbel Canon in D, which was a very popular classical piece of music. And we, of course, back then, we had to play records because we did not have this wonderful building we're in right now. We had a very, very small space as sort of an add-on to another building on campus. And we didn't have the space to have any kind of musicians actually come in the studio and perform for us. Today, we're lucky we're going to be able to have that. But before we start, I just want to talk just a little bit more about our evolution here in the community. As I mentioned, we were in a very small space. We were in a space of less than 1,900 square feet for the entire station. That included all the equipment, all the studio space, what limited that we had. But we've grown, and the university has been so supportive, as has the state of Florida. The state of Florida actually provided us with a grant to build this wonderful building we're in right now. And I would encourage you, when it's safe, when we can do these kind of things again, to come out and take a tour of the building, because it is beautiful, and we are so very, very proud of it. And it's hard to believe we've been in this building for almost 25 years ourselves. So just another piece of history and how the station has evolved. Now, I will tell you a little anecdote in fact, I was sharing this with our musical guests who are here today last night. They were asking me about one of our former announcers who unfortunately is no longer with us. Steve Tortorici, for many years, hosted our classical music program, and Morning Music was what the program was called. It was a wonderful program. And for several years before Steve retired, there was discussion about changing our format to this more news talk format. And I made it very clear at that point. I said, as long as Steve Tortorici is here at the station, because he became such a community icon and such a person that people so respected his knowledge of classical music, they would call him to find out more about pieces that he was playing. I said, as long as Steve Tortorici is working here, we are not changing the format. So we did not change the format until the day that Steve Tortorici retired. Just to show you about that. And you know, Steve, just another example. I have been so blessed to have been here 39 years and to be a part of this team. Folks have come, folks have gone, but they have all been of the same caliber, and it is such a wonderful place to work. It's just a family atmosphere here. There's so much love and respect for each other with my staff. I could not ask for more. I am so thrilled and honored and blessed to have been a part of this for these 39 years for me, and now to be able to celebrate that big 40th. Today, because we have the room and we don't have to just play a recording of the Pachelbel Canon, we're going to have a live performance of it. And we're lucky we have two beautiful pianos here, and we have two artists who are going to perform for us. We have Dr. Peter Rubart, the maestro and music director for the Pensacola Symphony Orchestra, and his wife, Dr. Reddy Rubart, who is the distinguished professor of music here at the Greer-Williams College of Music here at UWF. And we're going to ask them at this point to play the Pachelbel Canon for us. And while they're playing it, give us a chance for all of us to kind of reflect on our 40 years. And you can reflect on your relationship with us over these 40 years as well. So I now turn it over to the Rubarts for the Pachelbel Canon in D. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Reddy, for that. Thank you for being a part of this celebration today. We are so excited. There's going to be some programming things happening throughout this entire year of our celebration to remember some of the things that we've accomplished over the years, thanks to you, and to still look forward to what's yet to come. We look forward to many, many more years together. We thank you so much for your support. It means the world to us. And get ready to celebrate. You can go online to WUWF.org, and you will be able to see information, see a slideshow of some of our high points of our our first 40 years. And we hope for many more. We also have a YouTube channel that you can check out the 40th anniversary information as well. Lots of ways to have fun. Hopefully before the end of this year, we'll be able to do some things in person as well, because we love to see you. Thank you again for joining us this morning, and have a great day.